Hello, Colorado Realtors. I'm Scott Peterson. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Legal Bites. Today I'm going to be talking about special districts in Colorado, sometimes called metro districts, special districts, metro districts. It's an increasingly common phenomenon in the state. Not I don't say phenomenon like it's something dramatic or drastic, but there are some implications that specifically buyers need to be thinking about as they're shopping for, considering homes in the state. And I know a lot of people sort of overlook it. First of all, what is a special district? What does it mean? Well, it's essentially a municipal corporation. They call it a quasi-municipal corporation. And effectively an entity that's created and submitted to the state. I mean, they have to be approved. You can't just sort of create this entity. You've got to go through a substantial process to become approved as a special district or one of these quasi-municipal corporations. But the intent of this district is to provide services that aren't being provided otherwise to a certain municipal area. Often it's a large development, a big neighborhood that might be created, and these districts are often created right at the inception of the neighborhood. So it's many times in what we describe as newer type developments that utilize a special district to essentially provide services that wouldn't be provided otherwise to this specific community. And there's a very explicit list of the types of services that a special district can actually provide. The common ones that you might be aware of would be, water or a fire department, fire protection services, those kinds of things, parks and recreation, sanitation, trash type things, sewage, services that benefit the entire community in which they cover. And these special districts are authorized, once they're approved under state law, to tax the residents. They're allowed to issue debt to provide for those services, but primarily those services are funded through a specific tax authorization. Now these are different than an HOA or a community association, different framework that they're governed by, but a little bit similar in context, except for the fact that the special district actually can issue debt and or tax the homeowners that are living within them. So the issues that we come up with is when a buyer is purchasing a property and they're buying into a special district. I mean, first of all, it's addressed in the contract, and it is in all caps. It is quite literally screaming at you. It's in all caps. I don't like it when people use all caps for things, but you get the point. It is there in the contracts in all caps, and it should be well identifiable by any prospective buyer with regard to what they need to be thinking about with their special district, yet it is often overlooked by the buyer, despite the all caps. But it is in Section 8.4. It falls under the broader title objections that might be there. And so what it says then is, in addition to warning a buyer that the property may be in a special district, it does require the seller, in connection with the title document delivery deadline, to deliver what is a tax certificate or some evidence that would demonstrate taxes generally, but would also have information related to any taxes that may be charged by the special district. Those would be taxes that are over and above traditional property taxes or other municipal taxes that might be there. They're specific towards that special district. And they can be significant. They can be very significant, in fact. And again, these are all over and above what might be traditional property taxes or other taxes that might be done on a larger scale for the area that goes beyond just that special district. So the best practice and the sort of takeaway here is, as a buyer's broker or buyer's agent specifically, you need to make sure that your buyers are paying attention to these things, that they're actually looking at that tax certificate, that they're reviewing in connection with receiving their title work, which obviously is incredibly important for the buyers to be reviewing, but the tax certificate that describes what taxes might be applicable to that property, including special district taxes, they got to be aware of that. I think that oftentimes buyers can overlook those things. They close on a property and they realize that their actual tax bill, over and above what they may have assumed would just be their property taxes, is substantially more because of the imposition of the special district and the taxes that are implied there. If there's a problem, if a buyer looks at that and says, hey, I don't want to buy into this specific neighborhood because the special district taxes are extraordinarily high, then the appropriate time to make that objection, to terminate the contract, the appropriate basis on which to terminate that contract, I should say, would be at the title objection deadline, or terminate based on their review of title. There's not going to be much that they can really object to. I mean, if the property is in a special district, it's not as if they can ask the seller to cure that. That's not going to happen. So it would be just basically an ability for the buyer to terminate, or to maybe object and to try and come up with some other concession potentially that would satisfy the buyer and allow them to remain under contract. But don't let your buyers miss that deadline, and make sure they're aware of the implications. If you're working with buyers in neighborhoods, in many cases you know that neighborhood is a special district, and it is just, I believe, too often overlooked. So make sure they're paying attention to that. Make sure that if they have questions or concerns, that they're doing whatever additional research might be required, because once they've closed in a special district, it's been disclosed, and they're buying into that neighborhood and all of the additional financial implications. A couple of events that are coming up. We've got the National Real Estate and Cannabis Summit that's coming up October 4th, and then our Car Fall Forum. I'm going to be doing a really fun, interesting risk management forum for that, so I'd encourage you to try and if you can, be in attendance for that. It's up in Beaver Creek, Colorado, which is in and of itself maybe enough of a reason to attend. So check out those. Always, Legal Hotline is available for you 9 to 12 and 1 to 4 Monday through Fridays if you have more specific questions related to special districts or any other topics. And we will see you on the next edition of Legal Bites. Thank you guys so much.